All right, let's talk about solving a system of equations by substitution. I have a system because I have two equations here that I am working with. And so I want to find the point that satisfies both of these equations. And the way I'm going to do this is by using the method known as substitution. So step one for our substitution says to circle the expression for the equation solved for one variable. Okay, now what that means is which one of these starts either x equals or y equals. And so I can see right here, this one starts with x equals. So therefore, I'm going to solve for that, or excuse me, I'm going to circle this expression right here. All right. So I circle that expression because that's going to be what I'm going to substitute. That's why I want to know what it is. Now in step two, it tells me to substitute the expression in the other equation. Now it's important that I know which variable. So since this x equals y plus 1, then I'm going to replace this x with y plus 1. Okay? So I'm simply going to have y plus 1. That's my x. But notice the rest of that equation says plus y equals 5. I've also got to keep that part. So I'm going to keep the plus y equals 5. All right, so all of that is now my new equation. That's my substitution piece. I substituted y plus 1 for x. Now I'm going to solve for the variable. So notice that in this new equation here, the only variable I have is y. So I'm going to use the rules that I learned back in Unit 2 for solving equations. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have two different y's, so I need to combine my like terms. So y plus y is simply going to give me 2y. And then I still have a plus 1 over here on the left, and then that equals 5. All right, so now I'm down to my two-step equation. So when I get to that, the first thing I do is I get rid of the constant. All right, that's on the same side of the equal sign, so it's an added 1. So the inverse operation will have me subtracting 1 on both sides of that equal sign so that these will cancel. All right, now I'm left with 2y equals, and 5 minus 1 is 4. Now I have 2y. I need to get rid of that coefficient. Coefficients are multiplied, so the inverse operation is division. So again, I'm going to divide both sides of the equal sign by 2. So these 2's are going to cancel, which is going to give me my answer for y, and that is that y equals 2, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so that was step 3, to solve for the variable. So I have y equals 2 now. Now step number 4, this is another substitution. It says substitute your answer, this 2, back into the original equation. And the original equation is whichever one you circled. So now I know that y equals 2 in this solution. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to substitute it in to the one that I circled. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to substitute it in. So I'm going to write the 2 first just because I don't have to change colors. And so I now have x equals, but instead of y, I'm using 2 plus 1. Okay, this part's easy. So x, obviously then, x equals 3, right? Because 2 plus 1 is 3. So I solved for that variable, and I got that x equals 3. Now, the last step then is to write my answer as an ordered pair, making sure that I put x before y. Making sure that I put x before y. Just because I got the 2 first, but that's y. So that one doesn't come first. Instead, my answer is x, which is 3, comma, y, which is 2. And so there is my solution to the system using substitution.